So first, the situation that came up was Ten of Swords in reverse. So this tells me that you had a bad breakup. Like you were rejected or you rejected somebody else. There was some kind of a bitter end or betrayal. And you were immobilized. Your plans were ruined. It was just a really painful ending. And you were ready to get out. And it looks like the universe just kind of pulled the rug out from under you. So that happened in the past. But now, that's over. You're not brokenhearted or you're not the victim anymore. You're mobilized now. You're able to get up and move. Like here, all these swords are in his spine. He can't even move. Here, he's up and going again. Okay. You know, he still has some residual feelings left over, obviously. And then he's dealing with that. But he's glad he's getting out if he hasn't already. Okay. Clarifying that, sorry, we have the Six of Pentacles. This tells me that somebody was not giving as much. Could be attention, money, love, time. It says now is the time. This is the situation, obviously, to be vigilant. Yeah, this person is a little biased in this picture. Like you can tell he's really wealthy in the picture. And he's like giving 4 coins out to somebody. And he's not giving any money to the other person yet. So he's just very biased and he's not really giving everything that he could. So this person may be really greedy and they want something from you. Whoever did this betrayal for you. The good news is the betrayal's over, okay? So coming to your conflict, we have the Hanged Man. I was like, okay. And he's in reverse. So this tells me you're at a crossroads. It could be that this person came back and they wanted something from you. Possibly forgiveness for something they showed more favor to somebody else. Could be possible third party. Because we do have 2 sets of 3. And then we have some 2s going on here. But basically, you're not able to make a decision right now. And that's also representative of the 2s. So with the Hanged Man in reverse, there's just a big delay. You need to see yourself differently. Okay? Like this probably left you, pretty bad off. And it could have hurt your self-esteem. And you just need an overall new perspective. You need time to see what you need to change. Or it could be this person asked you, like, hey, see me differently. Give me some chance. Give me another chance. I want to renew and go forward. And it says, you're at a crossroads. Like, you may need to get a new perspective to see if this situation really is better now. Maybe they really did change. And you may have to sacrifice a previous belief. Or they could just be asking you to sacrifice your belief. And because this card also means martyr. So they could be asking you to be a martyr for them. And this Six of Pentacles can be a selfish person. Like he's holding back. He's keeping stuff for himself. So, yeah. They're probably asking too much of you. And you're actually considering it, But it says, don't blame other people. Like, let go of blame. Just let go of the whole situation. Okay, don't let go necessarily of a person, but you can let go of the situation. You don't have to deal with it. And it looks like you're not dealing with it. To further clarify that, we got the Six of Swords upright. This is saying this person is trying to come back and get forgiveness or start again. But you're moving on. Okay, you've been in that rough waters. You're in the calm, and now that you're in the calm, all of a sudden they want to come back. And they're trying to ask you to, see things differently. And you're like, I've made progress. So I think you're actually going to make the choice to move on. To help make this easier for you, the change is Judgment in reverse. So somebody made a bad decision somewhere. But this says you have to forgive them and forgive yourself. Okay? Just make this simple decision. If you can't get a verdict because your judgment's poor, you could just, finally just cleanse yourself of the relationship. It says, don't settle for abuse. Don't run away from the fact that this love is really bad, and that's the true feelings. It says, just don't even weigh the pros and cons. Get happy to be free. Or get free to be happy. Okay? So you can forgive them, but that doesn't mean you have to be in a relationship with them. Further clarifying that was the Ten of Cups upright. I thought, what? This is a happy relationship. How can you, forgive somebody and move on and then have a happy relationship with them? So I really had to think about this one. And the Ten of Cups is upright. So here in reverse, that'd be arrogance. This is saying don't be arrogant, forgive somebody. I think you are. I think you're going to be benevolent and forgive somebody. I think you're going to end up being the good version of the Six of Pentacles, which is somebody who's benevolent and generous. Okay? Not the selfish part. Or maybe if you are being selfish, you're going to end up just being benevolent and doling out your forgiveness. Also with the Ten of Cups, it just says it's a disastrous relationship. It's broken. And if you forgive them, it might be better. But at the same time, it's like, do you want to take that chance? And over here, it looks like you're really not sure. And in some instances, it says you're not going to. And there's actually two sets of people here for Capricorn. Some of you are going to take the person back, and some of you aren't. For those of you who are, it may end up like this. I think this is mostly just about the forgiveness, because this is the Judgment card, okay? Also, it says you have two Ten of Wands in here, and you have a Ten of Wands that I'm going to talk about in a minute because it's right next to the Ten of Cups. We have two 10 cards. We have the Ten of Swords. You actually have the Ten of Wands twice in your reading. So with all this tens, it talks about emotional renewal. You're either going to renew your emotions and feel better and get rid of all this residual hurt, or you have hope of a renewal of emotions with this person. So again, there's two parties here. Some people aren't going to take them back and some people are. We have lots of tens here. But when you have the Ten of Wands next to the Ten of Cups, or just in your reading somewhere, and you actually have Ten of Wands twice, this tells me that you feel like you're responsible for other people's happiness. Like you're spread too thin. You feel like you're responsible for yours and somebody else's, and it's just a lot to weigh on you. And so you're not happy because there's just too much going on. It's a big burden and you want to release it. With Ten of Wands in reverse, this is the burden and this is you releasing it. And this is in your change position. And we did have two groups. Like we have some people who are going to forgive and get a happy relationship. And then coming over here, we have some that it's going to be too much. Either the relationship or just all the happiness that you're responsible for. And you're going to release it. Okay? To further clarify that, we got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. This is, you're going to lose the opportunity. You don't have a connection to your partner. It's just bad news. Yeah, that's really what I'm seeing. This is somebody who's kind of off the path a little bit. And anything that you might be repressing, like this burden, you're repressing some kind of emotion. And it's just going to cause barriers. But it's not going to be forever, okay? So once you release that burden, this is going to turn upright again. That's what I'm seeing. You're going to be happy again. And I think the burden is just trying to make everybody happy. You can't make everybody happy. You have to do what's right for you. And it looks like some of you that the right thing is getting back, and for some people it's breaking up. So I can't tell you which one to make for sure. Only you know, and maybe just experience is the best teacher. Basically, forgive somebody and release a burden or things you need to do to change. Your strength is, well, first you got Six of Cups upright. And with the Six of Swords, this is telling me that somebody's coming back and asking for forgiveness, or they're coming back and asking to try again. And in both instances, I think you're willing to forgive them, because change says you might do that, or you should. And forgiveness doesn't mean you have to go back to them. You don't have to reconcile. This is like a reunion with a past loved one. So some of you will reunite. That'll be your strength. But some of you, your strength is you can see the good times with this person, and you can make progress and be with them, or you can make progress and move on. Usually this means going back, and this one just makes progress. So that's why I think for the majority of you, you're going to move on. But with the Six of Cups, there's just some kind of nostalgia going on, some kind of history. You want to be carefree. You want to have peace. And later on, you get the Lovers, okay? And that just says be playful. Like, have a playful kind of a love. It also talks about, just not judging other people and not being judged. You do have the Two of Pentacles in here, so it says also don't waste your money. This person may be giving away too much money. That could be it too. Maybe this person was a gold digger. Because here, money is the root of all evil, and it's bad news, no connection to a partner. And it's also a lack of prosperity. So when you release this burden, this person may just want you for money. They may be using you. Because this is talking about somebody who doles out gifts and is very generous and helps people out and takes care of them. Like, basically, this is a man who's keeping a woman by offering gifts. But you see in the back, there's this guy with this spear. So all malice has to be put to the side, all fighting. And you just have to be generous. And that's your strength. You're very generous, at least with money. And I think this is telling you that you need to be generous with forgiveness, because you do have some good memories. You can recall these memories, these good times, and that will help you forgive somebody despite this Ten of Swords that happened. Okay? But I would not advise giving them more money if they're asking for it. To clarify that, we got Death in reverse. So this tells me some of you are going to go back into the past, like reconciling with a lover. And for some of you, it's just dead, like there's a stagnation. And you're not changing. Maybe this is you being stubborn and not changing your mind. And that's a strength for you, because this is in the strength position. So your strength is that you've decided you're going to be generous, but only with forgiveness. And you're going to be stubborn about remembering the good times and not going back. Because sometimes, especially with all these sixes, Six of Pentacles, Six of Swords, Six of Cups, it's the same, remember the good times, but you're not going to be able to recapture them if you go back. So the advice for this whole reading is don't go back, because you're not going to be able to recapture that. I mean, you're going to run into the same problem again. Like, they're going to be selfish. They're going to want more of your money. They're going to hurt you. So other challenges, or just more challenges or dares, you got the Two of Swords upright, and this tells me you're still trying to make this decision. Again, we have a lot of indecision here. Trying to make two choices or decide between something. This says you refuse to say that you like or love somebody. And you feel for them, but you just don't want it to rule your heart. And so you're saying, I don't want this person anymore. But it's unstable, because you really do. Anytime somebody's hurt you and you love them, it just sucks. You're not wanting to see something. Maybe you're thinking, oh, my challenge is, I can think of all the good times. It was so good. I don't want to see, the fighting we had, the disagreements, the bad times. I don't want to see that. But this says you need to face it, okay? You can't pretend the problem's going to go away. You're in denial about what to do. It says you have to have courage. Because there could be a hidden agenda. This person may want to get back with you, or they may want to ask your forgiveness and then try to sneak in with an offer of love again to rekindle. And you feel for this person, so I understand it's hard. So there's some kind of an underlying issue. And with the Hanged Man, it says you need to be passive and hold back. Like, don't just rush in. And that's good, because it says you're on the fence. So you're not making a decision. You're just trying to go through and think of things. But you're also holding up a barrier to love, because she's crossing her arms over her heart. So, like, nothing's coming out and nothing's going in. Like, this rocky water, like, there's no ship that can dock here. And that's what you're trying to do. But it says you may have to have a temporary truce. If you're fighting or if they're coming back, you got to have a truce just so you can address something. It could be that this person may be good for you, but you just had a lot of problems and you've got to address the issue. And then maybe it will work out. But unless you address the issue, it's not going to. So don't just go like, yes, I want to be with them. This is great, and then just get back in that same cycle again. But you're going to take action, because here this is not taking action. This is action. See, but in reverse, it says your differences are going to be resolved. So this would be the opposite. Here it says you're going to be released. Here you're not. That's the other challenge, is you just can't decide what to do. But to help you change, this says release the burden. It's too much. So this card needs to be this way if you want things to be good in your life. But I laid down 2 cards to see what it is you're trying to choose between. And I got 2 of Pentacles. You're still juggling. You're still indecisive. And it says you need to make a definite decision to end some kind of a pattern. It says, you could get messages about the obstacle or about some trouble. It says just to seek harmony, seek balance. Again, I come to this idea of forgiveness, but not being with somebody, because that's balance. You can do this. And basically you have like an on and off again relationship. It says you just need to stop and smell the roses, because your heart's confused and you're trying to decide if you want to be with somebody or not. So that's what you're trying to decide. On the other side, you got 5 of Pentacles in reverse. This is saying you're moving on. Suffering's ended. You're leaving somebody out in the cold. You're not going to commit. And again, you're confused. You think you're going to lose an opportunity. But when this comes up, this says there's a karmic lesson going on. And again, this says release the burden. So again, you're trying to decide, can I juggle this person? Especially when they want your money so much. And then releasing the burden. And your change position says to do this one over here. Okay. But clarifying the 2 of Pentacles upright, we got King of Pentacles in reverse. This says this person is corrupt. They're your vice, they're your weakness. And if it comes around the 6 of Swords, it's warning you about this person. Like, if you go with them, you might miss your path. But this actually came after the 6 of Swords. So this could be that you think you're going to miss your path if you don't go with them, but you won't. Okay, that's good. But this person's they're ugly and they're perverse. They're corrupt. They're going to bring you peril. Again, they're tight-fisted. So this person who's very generous, that's you. But they're very selfish. This is a selfish person. They're selfish. They want your money. Or it could be somebody who doesn't want to give their money out. Depends on who it is. Could be both of you. This person's just really stubborn. And they're not very conventional either. They don't value tradition. This person's just a bad person. And this is the person you're trying to decide to be with. Okay. Clarifying this releasing of the burden and the karmic lesson. We have Strength in reverse. So this tells me you're going to need a lot of self-control to leave this person behind. Like, you're afraid of losing control. It says don't show your fear. And this relationship is not mutually supportive. Like, one of you is more dependent than the other. They may be dependent on your money, or you're dependent on them for something. I don't know what it is. Basically, control issues surface when this is here. It says you need to let go and just let God. Yeah, because somebody here is disrespecting somebody. and you're lacking courage, you're depressed, you're hopeless. And somebody's taking you for granted. And you just kind of have to accept somebody for who they are. They've shown you who they are one time. Why would you not believe it this time? You're probably going to get in that cycle. You can forgive them. Forgive them, Lord, they know not what they do, and then get your ass out of there. And this is saying you're not mastering your circumstances. So you need to release the burden to master your circumstances. And clarifying this Two of Swords underneath it, because I like to clarify everything just to make sure. Got the King of Cups upright. This says, if you make the decision, and you make the right one apparently, you're going to be this guy. This guy is weighing the pros and cons. That's what the Two of Swords is trying to do. It says weigh the pros and cons. You'll have a peaceful time. It also says, your feelings have turned from a crush to a friendship. And you're just going to be the master of your emotions now. You may have a diplomatic moment. And here I talked about having a truce. You're going to have that diplomatic moment and just kind of talk like adults, talk like friends. And you're going to forgive them, and then you're going to move on. This talks about, you're going to be balanced. It says listen to your intuition. You could influence this person greatly by just telling them the truth. Because you may have some kind of an erotic, passionate attraction. But you don't want any game playing. You don't want any arguments. So you're just going to release the burden. To clarify this challenges cards, we got release your ex upright. So that's what you're going to have to do. Then we got let go of control issues. So you feel like you probably can't control this person or what's going on. And when you feel out of control, that's a good indication that whatever your path you're on or whatever you're doing isn't right. And so instead of avoiding it and just not making the decision, make the decision that's going to not cause you sorrow. Okay, so let go of the control issues. You can't change anybody. And your potential or your outcome is a 10 of Wands in reverse. So this tells me that you have the potential to release this. And that should be your outcome unless you don't do these changes or these challenges. So you're going to release the burden, or you should. To clarify that, we got Two of Pentacles. So when you release this burden, you're going to be able to juggle things again. You're going to be happy. You're going to have harmony again. And then you'll just be able to stop and smell the roses. You'll have balance again.